So today we are really excited because we have someone very special with us who's going to give us great information.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yes.
Who is an awesome accountant. So it's approaching tax time, and we artists aren't that great with stuff like that, and my dad is. So
We're going to have a few questions.
yeah,
And he's going to explain some things to us.
we don't even know what to ask.
Right.
So
Let's start with, are you familiar with the form Schedule C by any chance?
I know
The
the
name.
term.
The name.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Do you know what it's for by any chance?
All the stuff you spent money on.
Very good. It's a very good start. It's a very good start. Schedule C is for people that are independent business people, which most artists are. And we won't use the word struggling artist today because we're not struggling, right?
No, we're persistent.
Persistent. That's good. That's good. Schedule C is where you put down all your income and all your expenses. And that sounds like a pretty easy thing to do. But I have a lovely daughter who we talk about this once a year, and then she forgets to write things down. You really do need to do that. For example, if you are an artist and you use your car, do you keep track of your miles? Excellent.
How do you do that? It's so hard.
You really just need to keep track of the total miles of the car and those miles that you use for business.
Okay.
That's all you really have to do.
So for our viewers, can you define business?
Business would be, for example, where is your office at this point? If your office is your home or your apartment and you're going to perform somewhere, as soon as that car moves, that's business miles. If you're going to go teach somewhere, that car moves, that's a business mile, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going out to buy music or buy props or buy something, it's a business use of the car. So anytime the car moves. And normally, unless you have a place of business, if your place of business is your home, then anytime the car moves.
I was saying, that's pretty much what that sounds like.
Yeah, and if you go on the turnpike, you may want to keep the receipts if you do things such as that. Now, you can take the actual expenses of your car, but that takes a lot more bookkeeping. I recommend you keep track of the miles. It's 56 cents a mile you can take. Then you don't have to worry about all the oil changes and the depreciation and other tax forms.
Okay.
Okay?
So we don't want more tax.
No.
No
We
more.
can't even do one.
So I usually do my taxes through TurboTax.
You do.
And you can't do them for free if you want to do a Schedule C.
That's
we've
correct.
Discovered.
That is
But
correct.
it's not that much, and it's totally worth it because you get so much more money back because they usually end up negative. With the Schedule C.
Persistent.
Persistent, that's good. And there's several products out here, TurboTax is one of them, and they'll ask questions and just walk you through this if you haven't done the form to do it. So it works out pretty well. The main thing you got to think about, anytime that you spend money, I know I've talked about this, if you're buying music, you're buying materials, you need to keep, I always recommend just get a big envelope and just stick them all in the envelope, and at the end of the year, you can sort through them if you're not keeping them on a month-to-month basis. If you do private lessons, you should keep track of the private lessons, and anything you buy for those lessons to do that is good.
Lessons that you take, you mean like that I pay money for?
Yeah, or you're giving lessons and you get money, and
Right.
if you're taking lessons, and let's say for example, maybe you have to rent a room, or you have to travel overnight, all those are expenses for the business, because that's what you do, and you need to keep track of those things.
Things that don't count, Starbucks while traveling, I've asked.
No, normally people eat anyway. Now there are some business expenses if you're out with someone that there's 50% of those can be taken. The Schedule C has instructions. It's only
Yay!
it's only 17 pages long if you really want to delve into it.
Ooh.
Yeah, but the big thing about Schedule C is that when you get to a certain point, if you have a profit, you have to pay the self-employment tax, which is Schedule SE, and that's the one that really gets people, because you're paying both sides of Social Security because you're self-employed. If you're an employee, your employer pays half, and then they take half out. So if you're getting a W-2, some of those taxes are being taken care of. So, for example, every $100 you get, 15.3% of it is going to be self-employment tax if you show a profit.
Okay.
Okay?
So people that would want to do a Schedule C, are people that are hired as independent contractors. You get a 1099.
Right.
And you're driving there. Even so, I do have some W-2s, but I still do a Schedule C because I have lots of pieces to my job. So I have 1099s, W-2s, and then just
Cash.
Yeah.
Some.
That I try to keep track of.
That's true. That's true. And a lot of this is all individual. And if you have a certain office space in your house, there's calculations you can do with square footage and things if you decide you want to do that.
It's pretty complicated.
Well, there's a simplified method you could do, but you have to make sure that that's what you use it for is your office. Okay. If you're an artist that you build things and then you sell them, you need to keep track of what you do to build it, and then you have inventory, and that's another whole day we can talk about those
Wow,
things.
yeah.
Inventory.
Mm.
That's good. Taxes really aren't that bad. The main thing is just keep track of it. Keep your receipts, keep a log, do something that which people that I know don't do, but not to mention any names.
Try.
Yeah.
Great.
And W-2s are, if anybody will hire you as a W-2 person, that's probably the easiest way for taxes, because they take all the taxes out for you.
Yeah, 1099 looks great because you get a huge paycheck, but then they get you at the end of the year.
Yeah, there's taxes that you have to pay on that. And just anything that you think that you're spending for your business, keep track of it. Advertising, if you're doing some kind of running copies and you're paying for the copies, or marketing, going and getting brochures, those type of things, all that stuff is a business expense.
Okay.
Keep the receipt. I should be
Yeah.
talking. I'm really talking to her, but both of you need to keep the receipt.
I do have receipts, lots
Yes.
of receipts.
Lots of
Yes.
receipts.
Yes. Yes, and at the end of the year, you can do your best estimates on miles and everything, but on the form it says, for example, do you have business miles? And you can put yes, and then the last question is, do you have documentation? And you can check that no, and you can still take it, but the IRS, if they check, could have questions about that. Reasonableness test.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
So, do what my dad tells you.
Yes.
And the one thing that a lot of people do forget, that if you pay somebody more than $600, another time we could talk about Form 1099s that maybe you need to give them, but
Okay,
That's-
if we have
if you're paying somebody over $600.
So if
Okay.
we had, it'd almost be like an employee or using an
Yeah.
independent contractor.
Right, if you have somebody that you like, voice lessons, if you take voice lessons and pay somebody more than $600, technically you should send them a 1099. Very- A lot of people don't-
No idea.
A lot of people don't think about it, but that's something
That
you
is
need to think about.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, and if any doubt, just ask either one of these ladies, they are now tax experts.
Yeah.
We'll give you his number.
Right, yeah.
So April 15th, get it in before then.
Yes.
Definitely, if you have to do a Schedule C, it takes some time. But again, it's absolutely worth it because when you look at all your expenses, it kind of evens out with your income.
There you go,
So when you're self-employed, you gotta help yourself out.
Yeah.
exactly.
And find good people who can help you.
That's right. That's what we always say.
Very good.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
All right, very good, ladies.